I'm Dennis Anderson along with Julie Zenner, and here's what's coming up on Almanac North.
A $30 million project began this week to reconstruct the main runway at Duluth International Airport. We'll talk with the airport executive director.
It's been called one of the most difficult races on the planet. We will talk with some Duluth riders who took on the Tour Divide bicycle race from Canada to the Mexican border.
And we'll have the week's business headlines and bring you a news file story from 25 years ago.
It's all coming up now on Almanac North. And hello and welcome to Almanac North. Thank you very much for watching. This week's show was recorded on Wednesday afternoon as we prepare for the WDSC membership drive. We'll have more on that later. Now here is Julie with our first guest.
All right. Thank you, Dennis, and welcome everyone. A long-anticipated reconstruction of the main runway at Duluth International Airport began this week. Work began on the western 2,000 feet of runway 927, one of the longest in the state. Construction will continue through the fall with completion of the total project scheduled for next summer. Well, joining us now with more is Tom Werner, Executive Director of the Duluth Airport Authority. And welcome, Tom.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you coming in. We'll get into some of the specifics of the project in just a moment, but of course the first thing on everybody's mind who's watching is how does this affect the commercial air traffic in and out of Duluth?
Certainly. So, you know, the way we've phased this project and how we've broken it up, we're able to accommodate all current air traffic into Duluth, which is extremely important because we don't want to create a disruption. So with each phase, there's different lengths of runway available, and when we do the middle part of the runway, we'll actually have to convert all of our traffic over to the crosswind runway. But so far, all of it can be accommodated, and there should be no changes to the schedule.
Tom, it sounds like this is being done in stages. How often does a runway need to be rebuilt, and can you tell us about the stages?
Well, we've been certainly very fortunate that we've gotten our complete use out of and life cycle out of this runway. It's 60 years old.
Really?
And outside of some cosmetic repair to its surface, this is a full depth reconstruction for the first time in its history. So I don't think that you know infrastructure. Typically, you plan for about a 34-year lifespan, but to get 60 years is extremely important. Because we have 2 miles of runway over 10,000 feet, we break it up into 3 sections. That's the most efficient way in order to phase this project. And so each end consists of a phase of about 2,000 feet, and then the middle section, the balance of the runway is its own separate phase. And it's the middle section that's the most crucial because anything that can't land on the crosswind during that period of time has to, essentially the airport's closed to them. So it's important that we time that and sequence the middle section correctly so that we can accommodate customers.
When you look at the price tag for this, $30 million is the number that I've heard, and 10,000 feet. Sounds like a lot of money per foot. What goes into runway construction that makes it so expensive to do it right?
Yeah, you know, there's about 12 inches of reinforced concrete. There's all the specific gravel that goes underneath a couple of feet down in order to accommodate many years of stress and weight on that runway. There's drainage, very, very advanced electrical that facilitates all the lighting that goes into the runway. We have instrument approaches into that runway which allow bad weather landings and takeoffs for aircraft. So there's a lot more than just concrete that goes into a project like that, and I think that's why you see some of those costs.
Sure. Not only is the main runway at Duluth International getting work, a realignment project is facing the Park Point Airport coming up very soon.
Yeah, absolutely. We have our main runway at Sky Harbor, which is also getting rebuilt and realigned.
Why is that? Why does that need work?
So we have a very unique situation down at Sky Harbor Airport where we've got a great amphibious airport where we have a sea base. We also have a land component, but we've also got an old growth forest down at the end of Park Point, something that is studied and preserved by the DNR, enjoyed by the public. And so our goal after a 10-year long environmental assessment process was find a way for aviation to exist side by side with a vital natural resource. We found a solution that would do that. It calls for us to relocate our runway essentially 5 degrees off of what it is today. But that will allow the trees to go through their cycle into perpetuity and allow aviation to thrive on Park Point.
But I understand you're also going to have to create some new land to make this happen, some new acreage out there.
We are. So a very unique process will be filling in about 7 acres of the bay in order to accommodate the runway section. And with that, the environmental mitigation exists, encompasses some water-borne environmental mitigation process where we're strengthening the habitat down there, as well as some terrestrial stuff to protect the trees as well. So very unique project in that way. But the Corps of Engineers and the DNR have both permitted the project, and we're excited to get that going.
Will you be using some dredge material too and carrying it by barge to avoid some of that truck traffic on Park Point?
So it's not so much that we'll be using dredge material, but we will be barging quite a bit in. That also is a 3-phased project that'll take us over 3 years. The first phase calls for us to build a berm to encompass the project footprint. Will allow that material to settle, and that'll all be barged in to avoid some of that truck traffic. And that material allows us for the type of compaction that we'll need in order to bring in the granular material and the asphalt to follow.
Tom, most of us know about commercial aviation here at Duluth International Airport. Tell us, how important is general aviation in Duluth at both airports?
You know, it's vitally important. General aviation, and it's not just business or corporate aviation, but it's also recreational in nature. And it's tremendously important. When we think of Sky Harbor, it's access to Canal Park only being about 5 minutes away. It's actually a gateway to this community for tourism, and we view it that way. People will fly up for the weekend, maybe take in Grandma's Marathon, do a number of other leisure activities in Duluth and use that. It also, at both airports, we have customs available as well. So people clear customs into the United States through both airports. We have a significant presence down at Sky Harbor in terms of that type of activity as well. So general aviation is tremendously important, and it's also affordable and accessible. It's not just a rich person's activity. There's a lot of flying clubs and a number of other things that facilitate that activity at both airports.
And Cirrus and Monaco Air certainly are important to Duluth.
They are very important anchor businesses to our aviation cluster that also includes AAR and many others. There's been a lot of growth in the aviation cluster, over 1,000 new jobs in the last 10 years alone. It's a critical part of our economy, and we're glad that our infrastructure, as we renew it, is a centerpiece to make sure that all of those jobs can continue into the future.
How's commercial air traffic currently through Duluth, both in terms of the number of direct flights and destinations currently, and the number of people who are utilizing the airport?
You know, so right now we're in this part where after the last recession, the aviation industry, commercial aviation, has remade itself. It's very focused on profit where it wasn't as much before. And with that, they have realigned the amount of capacity that they bring into any given community. In regional communities across the United States, most regional communities have seen reductions. We're now at a point now, though, that all the planes that come into Duluth, whether it be United or Delta, are relatively full. And that's a good thing because it then allows us to start growing incrementally again as the airlines see profitability there in those opportunities. So right now we have 5 daily flights to Minneapolis, 4 to Chicago. That's a good spot for us to be in, but we certainly aren't sitting still. There's a number of destinations that we're looking at in terms of growth over the next few years.
Maybe Florida and Arizona again?
Arizona is our number one priority right now. We would like to see a low-cost carrier, a leisure carrier, diversify our air service mix at Duluth. We're going after a Department of Transportation grant to market that service as well. We're hopeful that we'll get a successful award of that air service next year. So that will get us a direct connection with Phoenix Mesa area. We're also looking at Denver, and we're looking at a number of other communities as well. So hopefully good news to come in the future.
Speaking of transportation, agreements with Uber and Lyft to come into the airport. What's that doing to just the transportation once people get here, or to get people to the airport?
Well, it's certainly something that our customers, not only in this community, but many communities have asked for. And as that transportation model evolves, we have to figure out a way to make that work with existing models like our taxi cabs, hotel shuttles, and others. So far, so good. It's worked. Our customers enjoy having that service opportunity as well, and you know, it's good for the airport. Anything that makes travel to and from the airport, makes air travel more convenient at the airport, is certainly something that we want to have for our customers.
All right. Well, Tom, thank you so much for coming in and sharing some information. Good luck with the construction up there and all that always involves. So.
Thank you so much.
Tom, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Now, let's dig into our news file archive for a look at what was making news 25 years ago this week.
These arson signs were hung on the burned-out home of Mayor Herb Bergson today, 1 month after the fire. The signs offer a $5,000 reward for tips. For the first time, the mayor himself today talked about the fire from which he narrowly escaped.
You know, you're a cop for 10 years and you go through a lot of scary things. These kinds of things happen. You don't get scared. I get angry more than scared, but when I start thinking about my wife and 2 kids, then I get scared.
Bergson's wife Jackie and his 2 sons were not home the night of the fire, and today we found out why.
Prior to the fire on June 30th, the Superior Police Department responded to a 911 emergency call of an intruder in the Bergson home.
And the next day, the police were again called here to the Bergson house for another attempted break-in, this one near the garage.
These are incidents that may have a relationship, I guess is about the best I can say.
Well, there's no solid evidence to link the break-ins and the fire, but I believe they're connected.
KDLH sources say subpoenas are being issued to people with any connection to the fire. But when asked why someone would want to burn his home and in turn endanger his life, Bergson had little to say.
No comment, I can't. There are some leads that are being followed up on, but I just as soon not comment on why this would happen right now.
Well, the Tour Divide mountain bike race is one of the most difficult challenges on Earth. Riders traverse the Great Divide mountain bike route from Banff, Alberta, Canada, to the Mexican border, conquering mountain peaks and sizzling deserts. There's no entry fee, no formal registration process, no prizes for finishing the race. So, why did a number of Duluthians accept the 2,745-mile challenge across the country? We will ask Jeremy Kershaw, a Duluth rider who did finish the race. Also, Leah Gruhn of Duluth completed this year's race. And Jere Mohr, Leah's husband and riding partner, finished the race. Thanks to all of you for being here. Jeremy, the first question, the big question is, why? Why would you take this on?
It's a great question.
That's a good question.
Of course. I've watched it for about 8 years, and it's waxed and waned over the years. The stars kind of aligned with family and work and my health. And, I think part of it came from just it sounds odd, but the ability to do it. I wanted to try to complete it, and I had the health and the support to try it. And the expanse is such that there's really nothing like it in the world, really, from Canadian Rockies down to basically the Mexican American desert area, and so the appeal was just too great to let it go. So we did it.
Now the two of you, as a married couple, have kind of an in-house training partner, I suppose, and maybe both of you could speak to what you did together and individually to kind of prepare for this separately, individually, mentally and physically.
Yeah, so in the past 5 or 6 years, we've gotten into some long distance bike races, but nothing anywhere near this long. And so what we actually did is we found a coach online who offers training plans, and she had a plan that was kind of tailored for this particular event that we tackled together. So it's like there were workouts each day kind of set up for us. And so but it was really nice to have a partner in that, so we could kind of hold each other accountable and encourage each other.
Leah?
Yeah, I'd say that's true. And I mean, I don't know that, like mentally, I don't know if you are ever ready, because you got out there and it was like, oh my, just the expanse of the event was quite a lot. But definitely, that training helped mentally. Another thing that we did is we did some races this spring, some other bike races and events leading up to it.
Any one of you can answer this question, I guess. Where did you physically find in this long journey the roughest spots? Were there several of them, or was there one area which you found incredibly tough to bicycle in?
Yeah, for me it was in Colorado. Just because I guess what's unique about Colorado is it's higher elevation than other parts of the other states on average. So I got to the point where just being up at high altitude for days on end, my body was just kind of at a point where it needed some rest, and so I took a day off, went into urgent care just to see if there's anything easily treatable, just because I felt so weak compared to how I had felt previously in the event, so that was really good. Then I took a rest day, got an inhaler, did some things, and then went out the next day and felt a lot better.
Jere, how about yourself?
Yeah, I would agree. I think where it really starts to take a toll physically was like southern Colorado. You're at high elevation. I think we were above 9,000 feet for several days, where you never drop below 9,000 feet, and that really starts to take a toll on your body.
Yeah, Jeremy, same thing.
Yeah, I think New Mexico actually was where I think I really started to feel. And then there was a every day there. As I processed this, there always seemed to be something that was really unexpected, either a snow field that you had to walk across, or a reroute, or something that just didn't quite fit into your plan for the day. Yeah. And you realize that your plan for the day was always, it had to be very dynamic.
It's good to be flexible.
And so, but by New Mexico, there was a middle section of about 160 miles that really was very slow, very hot. It was high up and just hard to get a rhythm, and I think it was coming on the heels of feeling probably the most tired of the course. So it was kind of this daily mix, and then the big picture too. Sure. So
Speaking of pictures, we have some that are coming up. If you want to just walk us through them quickly.
This was one of the dodgiest places I camped. Was behind a Love's truck stop in Wamsutter, Wyoming. And nothing happened. It was great, but a highlight for, I think, myself and a number of writers was we didn't know where we'd sleep every night. And so I slept out every night except for one. And it became one of the highlights of the whole day was to find a place to unroll my sleeping bag and crash for the night, literally. Well, not literally, but almost. This was with the last gravel section coming through southern New Mexico. And I started to really, I think most people kind of feel like they've got it in the bag by this point. We had about 15 miles left. The last 70 miles or so is actually paved. We met lots of great people along the route, of course. And in the middle of the Gila wilderness and desert area, there was a ranching family that just had gallons of water left out for riders, and some sweet tarts and some cinnamon graham crackers. Are like, it was the best food you've ever had in your life.
Wow.
Day one, leaving Banff was exceptionally wild, and I think at about mile 25, I knew I had a point where I stopped and was like, what the heck did I just get myself into?
Sure.
And which included day one, a lot of mud. It was ironically one of the toughest days of the whole route was the train. And also this was part of a hike-a-bike at about 9 o'clock right now.
So how well did the bicycles hold up?
Unbelievably, I myself had no flats between Canada's 2,700 miles of zero flats.
Really? Same for me.
And I was very fortunate to have a very solid bike. So lucky, and you hear stories of that, of no flats. I couldn't believe the abuse I put through my tires and rig through. And in fact, I think I was packing the bike up in New Mexico, and I noticed my rear tire was getting a little low.
Leah, were the bicyclists spread out over many miles? I mean, you didn't stay as one group.
No, everyone, there were nearly 200 people who started at the same time from Banff. And people definitely did get spread out, but then there'd be kind of these like groups of people. So we were traveling in a group of about 10 people or so that are all, you're moving at the same speed. So you're not necessarily with them during the day, but you might meet up at lunch if you stop, or, in the nighttime. So
So you split up during the course of the race,
We
right?
did. When Leah decided to take her rest day in southern Colorado, we decided that it made sense for me to keep going. I mean, we had hoped to ride the whole thing together, but we also knew that a lot can happen over 2,700 miles, and so we had kind of prepared for the possibility that we might have to split up. And at that point, we weren't sure what the diagnosis from the doctor was going to be and if she was going to be able to continue, and so we decided it made sense for me to keep going. There were actually 2 other guys from Duluth riding the race who were about 5 miles ahead of me at that point, so I ended up catching up to them and riding with them the rest of the time, and Leah finished about a day and a half behind me.
Now, could part of it have been the diet, sweet tarts and popcorn? I mean, when you're fueling your body, it's hard to operate on food like that. What was it like out there, kind of being unsupported and having to carry your own food and scrap for food?
Right, so you're, as someone put it out there, you're eating out of the vending machine, because it's, it's potato chips and candy bars and that kind of stuff.
Whatever you can get your hands
on.
on.
And then when you do get to towns and there's a restaurant, lots of times we would stop and eat. But the menu there would be oftentimes just like burgers and fries, and I'm vegetarian, and so that would be a grilled cheese and fries, and that just got old. And I think it was tolerable for the first week and a half to just kind of eat whatever you could, and then after that point is when I started realizing wow, this is really hard to eat this way and yet be asking my body to be working like this.
Well, you got your feet wet on one of the granddaddies of all bike rides in the world. Are any of you considering doing something like this again?
Yes, but I don't know
exactly. Hesitation
well,
there.
I don't know exactly. There's events around the world that there's a very historic bike race from Paris out to the western coast of France and back, and it's tens of years old. I mean, it's a long event, and it's got this great history, and it's a really different type of flavor of long distance.
Aside from the ride, you must have seen some fabulous scenery.
Oh,
every day you'd stop and I'd stop and get off the bike and take photos, or just look around and be just blown away with the scenery. I mean, it was unbelievable.
It was always unexpected too. You'd be in somewhere that maybe wasn't that scenic, and then you'd come around a corner and see this huge mountain range in Colorado. And I'd be like, oh my, I wasn't expecting this. Is incredible. And yet there'd be nobody there. You'd be on some little gravel road.
Got better after every turn. Huh?
I was just blown away by it. It's like, if I wasn't doing this event, there's no way I'd be in this spot. It's just some of these magical spots that this route traverses that you'd never be able to find on your own.
Having 7 people from Duluth out of 200 seems like we're really overly represented there. Is there a real emphasis on extreme riding in this area, or a reputation around here that there are so many people who are interested from this area?
I don't know. I asked a woman that keeps tabs on people that are registered, and she did not know of any other city in the world that had so many representatives. Really? London, Australia, anywhere in the world, and I'm still trying to figure that out too. We have some very talented athletes in the city and the area, and in fact, there's probably 2 or 3 other people I'd name that had considered it for this year even. So. I don't know what's in the water here, but it's impressive, and it was really cool to see so many of us finish.
And I think one of the things that this race has that's a little different is it's more than just a bike race. I mean, you need to have more outdoor skills, camping, and kind of survival skills too, that I think a lot of people in this area have through different experiences.
You must have also met some incredible people.
Yes.
Not just incredible scenery.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
People from all over the world.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, at one point, towards the end, I was riding with a 60-year-old from Italy, a 68-year-old from France, and then a 70-year-old from Tallahassee. So now he's the oldest guy to ever finish it. Yeah.
It's not too late.
We're just about out of time, but from each of you, more physical or more psychological?
Psychological.
Psychological?
Physical.
And certainly psychological. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, we've got to go, so we thank you very much. Appreciate telling the story. It was fabulous.
Thanks for having us.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
It's time now for the business news from the editors at Business North. Health insurance rates in Minnesota will decrease slightly for people who buy on the individual market, but rates are likely to increase for those insured on the small group market, according to proposals released Monday by the Department of Commerce. The individual market rate decline reflects a new state program in which individual insurers are protected from high-cost claims by a state-funded reinsurance program. That plan, however, is subject to federal approval. Final rates will be released October 2nd.
Members Cooperative Credit Union and Lakes Area Federal Credit Union merged on August 1st and will operate under the members' name. Lakes Area Federal Credit Union was founded in 1953 and served Itasca County. Members established in 1936 and has offices in Duluth, Cloquet, McGregor, and several other locations. The combined organization will have more than 49,000 members, with more locations than any other credit union in the region.
Classic North Shore retreats are in various stages of changing hands. They include the Gunflint Lodge, which had been in the Kerfoot family for more than 80 years. Another established property, the Windigo Lodge, also was sold and renamed the Poplar House. A third facility, Lutzen Resort, is currently for sale on the North Shore. According to Kirsty Vick from Visit Cook County, buyers tend to be from outside the area and are looking to be able to make a living in beautiful surroundings. For more on these and other stories, visit businessnorth.com.
So call now if you have a comment. Dial 218-788-2849 to leave a message. And you can also send an email to almanacnorth@wdsc.org. And don't forget to visit the WDSC website for program schedules, the latest news from your public TV station, and updates on special events. And Julie, one of those special events is our August membership drive, which gets underway this weekend.
Vitally important for the station here. I hope all of you enjoy the programs and make sure that you call or pledge during that time.
Yes, indeed. Well, the pledge schedule of programming over the next week means there will be no Almanac North next Friday. We'll be back on Friday, August the 18th. For Julie and the crew here at WDSC, I'm Dennis Anderson. Have a great weekend, everybody, and be kind.